All right, this is the yellow page for our Skills Day, round 2. In this section, we are going to be going from a radical from the check mark so that when we're done with these problems, they look like these problems. And then in these problems, when we're done, they're going to look like these problems. So just a reminder that if you have something to a radical, I'm just putting different letters in here. M, let's say, is here, and N is here, that you can write this as an exponent. So the A is your base now, and then you get a fraction of N over M. And then again, if I give you this, you can write it as the radical, as the check mark, and the denominator is the little index number, and the numerator is your exponent. So just walking through a couple of these. So for instance, if you don't see a little number here, there is a 2, and I'll write this as 6x, and I'm going to put it in parentheses so that I know that all of this is to an exponent, and it'll be to the 5/2 power. Make sure you're writing this so it looks like an exponent up and to the right. Let's say you do number 6. So again, you need an exponent, so when you don't see an exponent, there's a 1. And I'll write this as 6x, and again, I'm going to put it in parentheses, so I realize that this whole thing is to the 1/3 power. Okay? All right, next I will be, all done? Okay. All right, sorry, just talking to another student. I'll be putting these as a radical. So inside my check mark, we'll go 4x. And again, the denominator is my little index number, and then I'm going to wrap the whole thing in parentheses, and that's going to be to the 2nd power, 5. Or if I have n is going to go in the check mark, and the denominator is my index number, and that whole thing is going to be to the 5th power. So you should start with this page, because then when you get to the back, the idea is you are going to be using your note card, your cube root, your square root card, to actually tell me what these problems are worth. So right now, I don't know what 64 to the 3/2 power is, but if I rewrite it, again, the denominator is the index number, the numerator is the exponent. I can look at my note card, or I can remember that the square root of 64 is 8. Okay, so this turns into 8. And then I probably need my calculator to do 8 to the 3rd power, so 8 times 8 times 8, or I could use the exponent button, but I'll see that 8 to the 3rd power. My final answer here is 512. Or if I go to 21, 343 will be my big number in here. The 3 is my index. And then I don't need the 1 here. So I just want you guys to get used to seeing that a 1/3 power is a cube root. And we wrote that specifically here. A 1/3 power is a cube root. So the cube root of 343 is 7. If I go, for instance, to 27, again, a 1/2 power, I want you to remember that a 1/2 power is the same as a square root. Just get used to that. It's big in algebra too. So, oops, let's get that a little more focused. So inside my check mark is the 25, and that's like the square root. If you really want to put the 1 there, you can, but the square root of 25 is 5, and then 5 to the 1st power continues to be 5. And that's this one. Your job is to do all 32 problems.